and it will return you back to normal. Your video will be stored in the live stream section.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Anyone? Ken, thank you. So you can actually hear me. Thank you very much. This is the first live video that I've ever done, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. So I thought I would give it a go. So hello. Thank you for joining me. One of the main reasons actually I wanted to do this, if you remember, probably just before Christmas actually, I'd done a kind of like a question. I was coming up to, I think, 200 videos just before the end of the year, and the plan was to create like a Q&A video, and I never got around to it. I can't remember what happened. Something happened. I couldn't do it. Oh, I had a break-in, right? So yeah, I think like a couple of days before wanting to do this video, I had a break-in and it kind of changed everything, and I didn't get around to doing it. But what I do have is a copy of all the questions that were asked on both my Facebook page and also on my YouTube page. So I thought, well, why not just go through them now? So hello to everyone. There seems to be quite a lot of people already, so thank you for joining me. Obviously you can see in the background I've kind of angled it somewhat. How I normally sit, the background is just a wall and it's not very fun, so I thought I'll twist it around. And perhaps what we can also try is with this laptop, it's just got like a basic built-in webcam. It's certainly not HD, and if you're seeing what I'm seeing, it's not a very good picture at all, but hey, doesn't matter about that today. We've got some questions and hopefully I can give you some answers, but I'm going to go through just some of the questions that were asked, and then perhaps, you know, some live questions, and I think that'll be pretty cool, or even, you know, mix them in and out. So let me just see what some of these buttons are doing. Like I say, can you hear me really well, or is it low, or is it too high? Because then I'll try and move around my microphone here. So it's clear. Good. Okay. Right. So going through the questions then, I've got Tony Hughes. If you could only have one model out of all diecast models ever made, what would it be and why? That's a good question. I think probably something like a Ford Model A. I think with that, you could probably do so many different variations, from like a rat rod or hot rod or you know, race car, drag cars, you know, such things like that. To be honest, you can probably do that with any car, but I think if I was to have to redo the same casting perhaps over and over and over, maybe something that's really old and classic, and I've never had one like that before, but you know, in real life, and hopefully I will do one day. So next question, I shall try and pronounce your name, Ezio Ambrosetti. This will be fun to watch. Thank you, Ezio. Have you ever had success printing your own water slide decals? You can't actually see it. Actually, can you see, if I can try and see that there? That is a printer that's under a box of new castings. That, yeah, there, that's a printer, and I've not yet even managed to turn it on. So perhaps I need to get into my own like decal making and such. Before switching to the next kind of page, I've got it on my phone here, you see. I'll I'll have a quick look at the chat. So B mid, hi Rob, keep safe and healthy in these crazy times. It is indeed crazy times. I've not left the house actually today or this whole weekend since Friday, coming home from work. My wife has to do a bit of shopping and then kind of come straight back. Just local shopping for your standard bread, milk, eggs. Toilet paper is a big one right now. We actually, I have a Costco card, and probably maybe 2 or 3 weeks before all this happened, we actually done our standard Costco run. And, I think you buy, was it 48 rolls of toilet paper plus other bits and pieces, cat food, dog food. So actually, in that sense, we were okay. It was just the fresh foods, we like to eat fresh foods every day, but fresh meat, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, and we just stayed away from the shops. And actually, my wife went yesterday after hearing all these stories of and kind of seeing videos online and pictures of fights in the stores. Crazy, but my wife said actually it was all right. There was anything and everything that we needed, and that's all we took. We just took what we needed for the next few days, and we'll just work it like that. But anyway, so Inner Soul Music. Shame you haven't wall space to hang your guitars, mate. You can see got an acoustic there. There's a bass guitar, an electric guitar, a little amp, and actually you may, let me just see if I can. That is a stall for an electric drum set. I'd like to think that I can play all of those guitars and those drums, but really, I can't. I'm a beginner, I would say, a beginner to. I've kind of been a beginner for probably the last 10 or 15 years on all of those, and I've never really progressed past beginner. But anyway, just having a look at a few more before I go to the other questions that I had. So Andrew Phillips, if you like rat rods, give my page a look because I'm reviewing my shaker collection in segments. Oh yeah, I've seen the shaker. I've seen a few guys do the shakers. That's an interesting kind of casting. And I think, is it the shaker that myself and my youngest son recently went to see the Hot Wheels monster trucks live in London. And I think one of those guys there had the shaker. So correct me if I'm wrong. I've got one here. Is it Giselet's question? Do you plan another cooperation with Danny? Ford Fiesta rally car. Of course, we've done the Ford Escort, the RS2000 rally car, quite a long time ago now, about 6 months ago. Myself and Danny will certainly do other kind of co-ops. To be honest, I speak to him kind of almost every day, sending him pictures of what I'm doing, he's sending pictures to me of what he's doing, and he gives me a lot of hints and tips and ideas of what certain things to use, and hopefully we help each other out, and we seem to have kind of really gone through this journey, I guess, together. I think I started perhaps maybe a month before him, and I think he's a couple of thousand subscribers ahead of me right now. He had a few recent videos, some supercar videos that really just smashed it out of the park, and it's kind of he's got away from me. I come up with this kind of fun idea of trying to race him to 50,000 subscribers, right? And he'll beat me, but it's about the a little bit of a friendly competition. I like our retro restore Martin. Hi Rob, how's it going? Hello mate, how's it going? Yeah, good mate. Martin, I know you do the live feeds, and I've watched your live feed with your lovely wife on the weekend. Do you still do it, mate? I haven't been in for a little while, I must admit. It's trying to keep up with this lot is time consuming, but I do enjoy it. Charlie Dog Customs. So it's back again. Had to close the store. So I hope, mate, that that's not you closing the store as in full time because of what's going on. Hopefully, he's perhaps, I don't know what the time is. It's 10 p.m. here in the UK. I'm guessing where you are in the US, it's somewhere like, I don't know, perhaps 4 p.m., 6 p.m. maybe. But yeah, Charlie Dog Customs or Chuck, and I done a commission for him a little while ago, so that was very cool. But anyway, let's have a look at some more questions. What make of detailing pens do you use in red, amber, and silver? Let me just grab my trays of pens, which is a little bit just out of reach, but as you can see, probably got a couple in here. For red, I use good old-fashioned Sharpie quite a lot. And for the paint pens, I use these Uni Posca. And I've got that in silver, black, white, red, orange. And I think that's all you really need. I don't use them kind of all the time. Those paint pens, they tend to have like a matte to satin finish. And so sometimes I like to use instead just true paints for little details and such. All right, so it's 6 p.m. out there. So Martin says from Retro Restore, he stopped them. Okay, too much time. Yeah, and that's the thing. And they're not really monetization friendly. Oh, no. It's... looking back up, Chuck mentions 5 p.m. here in Iowa. So that's really cool. Seeing you guys from all over the world, throughout the USA, throughout Canada. Joey Nunez it's only 3 p.m. in Canada. That's cool. I'd love to go to Canada. Excuse me. So, right. So that's that question. That was from Gary Woodley. Okay. James Christopher. If you were to do a Top Gear Grand Tour Edition Matchbox Garage video, which free-scale cars would you use and what would be the theme for them? As in a good beta cars, best performance for a budget, even going the whole highly customized boating car, or maybe even tackle Jeff. Don't know what that means. For me, I think a good performance budget. I'm a budget guy, so I have budget cars, and I've always lived on a bit of a budget. And seemed like I've got a bit of a frog in the throat. Let me just grab a bit of water. And I think to see a budget car that's perhaps got a V8 engine from the junkyard. I watched a lot of these American programs where you put an American V8 from something crazy like a bus or something, right? And it goes into this old clapped out old car, and then all of a sudden it's doing 10 seconds up the quarter mile. That to me, that is really cool, especially when you can put that next to, say, a brand new Ferrari and beat it. That's what probably would excite me. So yeah, if we had 3 different cars, perhaps some old British cars, and put a great big American V8 and go and have some fun. Carl Chegwin, why don't you use all GW paints like a real pro? And I know Carl is here today. He's been in the chat as God Pikachu, and he sent me some cars recently. You may remember he sent me the Vauxhall Nova, and it's not the Chevy Nova, it's the Vauxhall Nova we had in the UK. It's a tiny little car, and I think Carl will be back along again soon. Before I flick over to the next page, just questions here in the chat. What's that? 10:04 here in Bedford. I'm assuming Bedford in the UK, right? So 10:04 p.m. A lovely part of the UK. Question: do you keep in contact with Marty? He hasn't posted in 3 weeks. I hope he's not sick. I don't necessarily keep in contact with Marty like on a regular basis. I have emailed him before. I do have his email address. I've sent him some bits in the post, and of course I watch every single one of his videos. But yeah, I don't know why he hasn't posted in the last 3 weeks. You know, it's with the kind of current climate, it's understandable if people are going to be taking a break from YouTube whilst they sort out their lives, and that's of course their friends and their families are the most important things. Oh well, look at this one. So hashtag Persian cat hashtag care. Hi bro, I am a Bollywood actor in India. That is super cool. I don't know any kind of Bollywood actors. Can't say that I'm sure I've seen some Bollywood movies before. There's a lot of dancing. I know that. Jeff Cox, g'day Rob. It's 8:30 on Monday in Adelaide, South Australia. Beautiful. I'd love to go to Australia one day. 8:30 in the morning. Let's have a look. RJ Auto. Hello Rob. Hope you are well too, mate. You are a regular, I know. I see your comments on a lot of my videos. Thanks very much for watching them, mate. Tony Hughes. Of course, I've spoken to Tony many times. We've had some unboxings. I went to Debden College back in 1987 and ended up living in East London for 17 years after doing my nurse training at Claybury Hospital. Tony, you still a nurse? If you are, mate, you're probably doing a lot of hard work at the moment, so thank you very much. Matchbox Resurrection, Juan. Hello, mate. It's just passing by. I hope you're doing well. All the best. I am, mate. Thank you very much. What's this guy? Diecast Powder Coat and Restoration. Hi, Rob. It's great to see you in person. My channel is only 6 weeks old, but I get a lot of tips from you. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks very much, mate. I hope you do well. I wonder if I can pause this from you. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks very much, mate. I hope you do well. I wonder if I can pause this chat because sometimes it goes a little bit too fast. Ken K, we have 3 blind mice and the 4 horseman build-offs. Any chance of you getting with several other builders doing something recurring? I used to. Who was it? It was Lee from Time Riders, Wee Little Cars, and it was Time Rider started it, and this was kind of like the predecessor, really, to the 3 blind mice. So just pull this up. It was with Nick. It was Nick over in Belgium, and his channel was called, I think it was Diecast Restoration. I think it was Diecast Restoration. Anyway, Nick over there. So this is not other Nick, which there's a couple of guys, both called Nick, both from Belgium. So it's a bit confusing sometimes. But anyway, yeah, he hasn't posted actually for a long time. And back in, I want to say July, we was doing like a monthly videos. A few other guys jumped in on board, but it got a bit too much for me to try and keep up with the, you know, the I guess the schedule of putting out a particular car, you know, theme or whatever. You know, I may go back into it in the future. Perhaps if it's, I don't know. I'll have to think about it and see who else is on board and maybe start something up again. But okay, so Tony says he's retired. Okay, mate. I see. You're probably glad you're retired today, eh? Oh, Pimp My Diecast. Hi, dude. How's it going? Not good times presently, is not, mate. It's pretty scary. I don't know. I think I was a little bit probably blasé about this whole thing at the start, and you know, I'm a laid-back kind of guy, and I thought, this will blow over. Give it a couple of weeks. I think it's probably going to be a little while yet. Some of the scary things that I've read, one was that it could take 2 years to pass. I don't even want to... Lee's in from Time Riders, Wee Little Cars. Greetings. Of course, greetings to you, sir. I know that's... I always enjoy that when you start your videos as greetings. There's a couple of times when you haven't said it, Lee, from if I'm sure you guys know Time Riders. Lee, I think, along with there was maybe 3 or 4 guys before I started out. Hey, you don't want to be predictable. I know you don't, mate. But yeah, there was a few guys, and I remember when I first started out and asked a few people for hints and tips and help. And Lee was certainly one of those ones that gave that help and advice. So thank you for that, mate. But right, let's have a look. I've got another page of questions. So, how many hours a week do you spend on restorations? Good question. I spend, at the moment, if I'm doing and trying to keep up to schedule, i.e. a release every 48 hours, that requires me to spend every night because, like, so how I do it is I work one casting at a time. I don't tend to have, like a few different cars in strippers or a few different cars in, waiting for paint or waiting to dry, etc. Only if I'm, recently I've done a couple of cars for a guy over in America as a commission, and it was 2 of the same car. Of course, I've done those at the same time, but generally I work one car at a time. Day one, what I'll do is I will, of course, strip it down and then basically kind of almost build it back up. So strip it, polish it, paint it, and then I'll leave it to the following night. The following day, that's when I put in all the extra details, take the final shots, and then I will edit, voiceover, and upload. So that's kind of, it keeps it nice because each day is different, but it's sometimes it becomes a bit of a chore. And for the whole, I think I started in February last year. For pretty much the whole year, I tried to keep to a schedule of at least one every other day. There was a particular time when I went to almost every day, or if I had an unboxing, I would throw in an unboxing and make sure the very following day there was an actual restoration or custom. But yeah, so I probably spend on average 3 hours day one, 3 hours day two, but it's not necessarily equal for every casting. There are sometimes when, if you see the recent Subaru Impreza, that one, I think it's when I have to repaint that particular casting, I repainted 4 times. So as you can imagine, that's when time, basically problems or mistakes or having to redo it. Yeah, that's when the extra time really comes in. Or of course, when you've got one of those ones that's been stamped on, trying to gently pull it all back out and trying to massage it back into position, put new A pillars in and such. But anyway, I would say 6 hours from start to finish, and that includes edit, voiceover, and upload. And I'm pretty quick at that. My editing time, I just use Windows Movie Maker, so very basic, very easy, and it's kind of quick. I probably have around 15 to 20 minutes of actual footage that I condense down into around 12 to 15 minutes. So there's not a lot of editing that I do. I then do the voiceover in one shot generally. So when you listen to my voiceovers from start to finish, it's probably 9 times out of 10 all in one go without any breaks. I just go from rule that I want to say. So yeah, kind of getting in there. But I can see that Hodges Hot Wheels and Diecast is in. So George, hello mate. Hope you're well. If you haven't seen George's paint jobs, they're probably one of the best. Yeah, he's got some great paint on there. But anyway, let's have a look. There's a few people here that's saying Marty, Marty, Marty. So is Marty in the chat? That would be a real privilege if he is. But anyway, so when do we? Oh, so Morton Henningsen. When do we have Mad Max Monday? Mad Max Monday. I really enjoyed Mad Max Mondays, and that was during a time when I used to probably do almost daily uploads. So of course, a Monday I could always hit it, and it was quite cool. Like the creativity that it allowed for the Mad Max Monday. I never really set out with a plan. I just had, a whole heap of parts and bits and pieces, and then I just went for it. I wasn't one that kind of stripped it all the way down to metal and then rusted it out and then added onto it. I like to keep the original paint and just add to it. I just thought that was my, I guess, spin on it. We all have to have our own little spin on things. Two other guys that are doing great Mad Max stuff or post-apocalyptic. Of course, Danny from Danny's Diecast has asked this. He still puts it out there, but also Keith over at Outlaw Speed Shop. He does great stuff as well. Right, so trying to catch my breath, trying to not to get too excited. So Bobby Bearcat. I must apologise for some of my pronunciations of names. In the UK, we've just got certain names. In America, you seem to have some really strange names, to me at least. Anyway, I think they're kind of all different European names. But what do you do for a living? Also, what's your wife think of Matchbox Garage? Well, I work in transport. My full-time job is I work for shipping companies. We import, export, and that's what I kind of have done for the last 17 years, I think. It's it's not exciting, but it pays the bills. And what does your wife think of you doing Matchbox Garage? I think she enjoys it. Now, what you may or may not see, you can't. Let me see if I can just move my laptop a second, because it's up on that wall. You may see up there, that's a silver plaque and a letter from the CEO of YouTube for 100,000 subscribers. That's another channel that I used to have. It was rubbish, really. Let me just get rid of this guy, because I don't know how do you hide user. There's a guy that he does. He's a Bollywood actor, and seemingly he keeps on telling us every 2 seconds. So I'm bored of that one. But anyway, moving on. So Bobby, my wife, she kind of went off a bit of a tangent there. But yeah, she's been with me dealing with YouTube for probably the last 6 or 7 years. If you actually look at some older videos on Matchbox Garage, actually, I deleted probably 200 videos that was on this channel. This started to, I wanted to create a channel. I've had probably about 12 different channels, but this particular one was all about like real size cars, restoration, servicing, kind of trying to help people out. And I've always seen myself as a bit of a kind of a backyard mechanic for mechanics, of course, and that kind of led into real cars and mentioning earlier on about liking to do things on a budget. I wanted to restore and I wanted to service my own cars. I didn't want to go and pay a garage £200 to change the oil, right? I wanted to do it myself. So that's kind of where the channel started off. And it's probably been through 4 or 5 different names now, this channel. And it's found its kind of forever home now as Matchbox Garage. But yeah, my wife, she's happy. I think sometimes she gets to, I come up here, what we call in the up, where Matchbox Garage is, and she gets to go and watch her junky TV and do whatever women do. Jason Himpson asks, how did you get into diecast rebuilds? That's a good question. Of course, being a young lad, I had so many different castings, and I didn't even understand that they were Hot Wheels or Matchbox or kind of different brands. Realistically, probably what I had as a kid growing up in the 80s and then going into the 90s, it's I always had an interest in these little toy cars, which went on to real size cars. I passed my driving test when I was 17. I'm currently, how old am I? 36, and I've had over 70 cars. So I'm, pretty interested in cars. And I like to think that I'm creative, and I like to play with little things. But don't know what that was. I think it just kind of come hand in hand with wanting to do YouTube and think of a new idea of creating a new channel, because I was kind of over the old one. And yeah, I just, it kind of, I noticed some videos from Marty's Matchbox Makeovers, who I just see now in the live chat. So hello, sir. Hopefully you are okay. A few people have been asking questions and concerned. They haven't seen, and myself as well, I haven't seen any videos for a few weeks. Hopefully you and your lovely wife are well. But yeah, so Jason, I think that's pretty much it, really. Just to, kind of having the interest always before. I've got 2 little boys. They, of course, have, plenty of toy cars. And I think one of my sons just said, oh, can you change the color to this one? This one's broken. And I thought, oh, I'll do that. I think I then went on to YouTube. So how do I remove the rivets from this Hot Wheels? And all these videos were coming up, and so really I would say the 4 channels that were probably got me into it really were Marty's Matchbox Makeovers, Wheels and Thangs, Bare Metal Diecast, or Bare Metal Hot Wheels rather, and Lee. Seeing, because at the time he would have been starting out, so seeing kind of Lee and Time Riders Wee Little Cars, I thought, maybe I can do that as well. And here we are today. Last question on this page. Rob W, is Matchbox Garage become your full-time job now? No, it's not my full-time job. There was a period in around April last year where I could have considered that this was my full-time job. Only reason because was that I didn't have a job. I was made redundant from my previous job, and things were going well with Matchbox Garage, but also my other channel. And between those two, I thought maybe I could try and push this as a full-time thing. The other channel then decided to stop monetization, and of course I couldn't live then. I have lots of bills to pay for, and children and cats and dogs and fish, and I need to go and get another job. So yeah, this Matchbox Garage is only, I think, ever going to be a hobby. And yep, it pays a little bit of pocket money, and it helps me kind of pay for all these bits and pieces. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I've got to go to the next page, so I'll have a look in the chat, see if there's anything else here. I think I see earlier on someone said, how many castings have I got? I think I lost count when it went past around 2,000 castings. I think I was up to around 2,500, but I have tried to thin out a little bit. What I was finding was that I had not just doubles or triples or quadruples. There was one particular casting. What was it? It was a station wagon thing, and I had 13 of the same model. And look, I don't need 13 in model, so I thought I'll kind of move those on. I'll keep obviously 2 or 3 of them, and then I will just move the rest on. If I can grab back a £2 or £3, and I can put that back into the channel and buy something else that I don't have. Nathan Cook asked, station wagon, what make? It was a Matchbox. They were all green. It had like a couple of little dogs. Yeah, lime green ones, and it had a couple of little dogs poking out the rear window. I can't really remember what. Rich actually come and picked him up today, and he said, "Oh, can I come and see like the Matchbox Garage area?" Mercury's, that's it. Lee got it, yeah, and then obviously we kind of come to the doorstep, and I gave him to him, and I had a chat. But obviously, what with trying to shake people's hands, or we kind of kept our distance and said maybe next time. But anyway, so Joey asked, when do you do giveaways? My next video is going to be a giveaway video. I'll give you a couple of hints. The car is Italian and it's red, but I bet you won't get it. I bet you won't get it. Anyway, let's go to some more questions. George Hodges, I'm looking forward to seeing your collection. I got to see my favorite already in your last video. Now, I wonder whether I can just kind of move my laptop around and show what I've got up here. I may do that. EP Main, approximately how many restorations have you done over the years, and what scales have you worked with? I've seen. I haven't done any other diecast restoration that has not been on video. My very first video, which was a Mercedes, what is it? I can't remember which one it is now. Is it 280? I haven't got it up here. It's in a display cabinet downstairs. But yeah, that was my very first restoration, in person, but also on video at the same time. A couple of people have maybe got it right. But yeah, you'll have to wait for it tomorrow. It's uploaded, and normally, so it's 10:30 p.m. On a Sunday night. I've got to get up and go work in the morning. But now's the time that I would normally be kind of tackling the next diecast. But I thought, well, I'm a day ahead of schedule, and that's why I thought I would. I don't know. Do I treat you, or do I treat myself to kind of taking on this live feed? I didn't have an idea of what kind of how it would go or what I would say, but I think it's doing well. Z Griffin or Z Griffin, Monteverde Hay, as I believe, or the Riot, as I believe the young people say. I wonder whether that's in what you mentioned about the Italian car. Now, I did actually mention that the Monteverde was Italian, but of course it is a Swiss make. So I was corrected before. Turbo lives in my heart. Stay safe, Rob. Thank you, mate. And you, your friends and your family. But right, let's have a look. Michael Vincent, what is your favorite public safety vehicle in your collection? Now, to be honest, I've got quite a few, but I was sent over some. I'm trying to think who sent it to me. Was it EP Main? But I was sent over, or maybe Steam. I obviously talk to many different people every day, and I have to apologise. I do kind of forget who sends what and who I speak to, but normally it gets reminded and I remember. But I was sent over a load of almost brand new castings. The American sedans or the saloons, I would say. Those whole kind of 80s box cars, and I've got one of every different one. There's a taxi as well, but they're probably my favorites just because they are like 30 years old, but they just seem brand new. Marty says, hi there, don't want to hijack Rob's chat. Hey, Marty, you are free to do that, mate. I do not mind at all. But I thought I'd assure you that we are all fine. I have been flipping a couple of real cars the last few weeks to make some fast cash. I'll be back very soon. That's very good to hear, Marty. What cars did you flip? I'm interested. One sad thing, obviously, I know you're down in Australia. Hearing that Holden are pulling the plug, that's a pretty sad one. Okay, what was the next question from Benjamin Bockover? What build are you most proud of, and what build was your worst disaster? Proud of. There's a couple that I would say really that has probably helped my channel, and taxi, the old Chevrolet Impala, the yellow taxi. It come in. I think did it come in apart in two, and I put it all back together, repainted it, and it looks pretty good. The paint on it's really thick, but that kind of almost helps keep it together anyway. And that one I think it's got over. Let me quickly have a look. Let's have a look. I think 500,000 views. How do I do this? Let's have a look. Sort by most popular. So these are probably my most proud, I guess. Matchbox number 20, Chevrolet Impala taxi restoration. Yeah, I can't think like the whole roof section had almost come off of it. It's been seen by 550,000 times, that's pretty cool. Another one, the Matchbox series number 22, the Pontiac GP Sports Coupe restoration. That one had been kind of stamped on. That one did come apart in two. I needed to build new A pillars, which of course I learned from watching like Marty's videos and things like that, using the whole trick with the baking powder, and certainly helped me there. One video that actually recently, 4 months ago, the Matchbox Lamborghini Marzal candy restoration. It's been seen by 169,000. Stripped it down, repainted it. I got these green stuff world candy inks, blasted it over with some magenta, and then uploaded it. And then it's got 169,000 views, that was crazy. I think the build off, which has got almost 100,000 views, the Matchbox 1979 Ford Escort RS 2000, the build off rally car with Danny. That one, of his version though, I think has been seen like 500,000 times or something. So to be honest, my 100,000 views has probably just been tackling on from Danny's mega views. So I can thank him really for that. Some of the disasters, to be honest, there's probably too many to mention. One that comes to the top of my mind was one of my first probably videos really, which I can like a satin black, and it had these great big chrome wheels on it. It looked absolutely ridiculous, but because of that, it kind of it created comments, and people were talking, really see negative comments. It only ever really sees comments, and it takes them as a positive. But anyway, moving on. Jeremy Chipcase. Right. Big Boss Juju. Interesting name. How do I go about having the opportunity to buy a few cars? Let me know, please. I'm a big fan of yours, all the way from South Africa. So that's very cool. I don't really sell my cars. I have sold a few, but yeah, you could send me a message on my Facebook page, perhaps, and if there was anything in particular, I try and give them away. Sure, if someone wanted to buy one or some, just send me a message. But yeah, I'm not kind of actively selling them really, although I am running out of space. Shrot wheels. You have done so many different repairs, castings, colours. Is there sometimes no motivation drilling the post because you can imagine the result and you're getting bored? That's a good question. Certainly at the back end of last year, I felt that I was, not necessarily losing motivation, but burning out a little bit with doing it every single day, which is certainly difficult. I just want to remove somebody here. Oh. Hide. Yeah. Some junk spam. But anyway, where was I? I felt like I was probably burning out a little bit, and it's motivation. Certainly. 1 second. I don't have coronavirus, honestly. And I think what keeps me actually motivated, I don't know, perhaps cheesy, but is seeing a lot of the positivity. And I understand that not every casting is going to be loved. And I understand that not everybody is going to love every single one of these videos or these cars that I do. But the majority do, and the majority give me great feedback and positivity, and that in itself just keeps me going. And of course, I enjoy it. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. I would do something else. It would be something else within YouTube. I've been kind of creating and uploading YouTube videos for, I want to say, about 6 or 7 years. But yeah, I enjoy this channel the most. Right. Leaf Celtrons. What are your favorite castings from Matchbox and from Hot Wheels? How would you do a black chrome color? My favorite castings, my interest, not necessarily my favorite castings, but I have an interest in real cars. So I'm not really into the fantasy stuff. And even like modern, I'm not really interested in. I guess I'm probably more interested in maybe 60s or late 60s, 70s, 80s, and maybe going into the 90s. Those kind of era, take their version and then just switch it up a little bit, just kind of dial it up in the Restoration Plus. I really enjoy the Restoration Plus attempts that I do. If something was just painted bog standard in red, but there's no light body who puts themselves out there deserves my respect. Yeah, I must admit, to put yourself out there, this live chat especially, I've been putting it off for so long because I like to make sure that, I don't know, perhaps my hair was all right, or maybe I hadn't shaved, or maybe the area wasn't tidy enough. And I think I've kind of, I don't know, it just feels like it's changed at the moment. I've learned to, or was kind of reminded really, that the barbers are going to close. I can't go and get my hair cut. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Do I shave it off? Do I allow my wife to cut it? I don't know. She might just shave right down around the center of it. Yeah. So and things like that. It was kind of, you guys, you're not in. I'm assuming you're all in your homes, comfortable, and you don't care if I wear a nice shirt or if things are tidy in the background. So that's kind of really what I've had to accept. And perhaps all you just want to do is the live chat. Christian Goebel. Maybe one time, Rob, will restore the Leyland Titan from London or restored any bus yet. To be honest, one of the main reasons for that is that the buses have quite a lot of way to replicate those at the moment, other than, of course, getting this printer up and running or buying them in. But, one day soon. So looking down, CCal 1970, nice to put a face. Yep, thank you. Malcolm McDonald. I know Malcolm, he regularly comments on my videos. Thank you, mate. The Subaru was outstanding as a Resto Plus. Yeah, I really put a lot of time and effort into that one. I wanted it to look as true and as real to the car as I possibly could. And I put every little extra bit of effort into that one. A few people mentioned that it's either lagging or buffering. Unfortunately, there's not really anything I can do about that. If you can hear me, though, then I guess that's all that matters. If I'm just kind of moving around like a robot in the background, then, so be it. Seems like my internet, it claims that I've got a full bar of internet, so it should be all right. Okay, so Frank asks, what does your wife think about your hobby and the time you spend on it? I think we've touched on that already. Jerry Rathgeb says, congratulations on your 200th. This was around my 200th video. Obviously, I think I'm now up to around 230 something. All right, so yeah, buffering is a pain. Yeah, pin my diecast. Wonders whether it's a virus. Possibly, mate. Possibly. Yeah. Okay. We'll move on from the buffering. As long as you can hear me in the background, that's all that matters. Okay. So, okay, it's a good question. Soham Sengupta. That's a pretty good milestone there. Let's get you to 500 next year. So 500 videos. Probably won't hit 500 videos, but, we'll see how many we can get done. For the question, did you get your airbrush because you got into diecast restoration, or did you do some airbrushing before? Also, kind of talk about any hobbies that you may have. I know you collect license plates. So I only bought this airbrush because I was starting this. I was only, this hobby. I bought it. What is it? It's a Switzer something eBay jobby. I think I paid about £80, and it come with a free cheapo airbrush, and I quickly replaced it. And this is an Iwata Neo, or Neo for Iwata, and this has probably been with me since around the 5th video. I think the free one that I got lasted all of 5 minutes. This Iwata, and again, for me and my experience and what I've learned over the last year, I used to take this thing apart. You got obviously the back end here, you kind of take the needle out, taking all this apart, and every single paint job I would take this whole thing up apart was probably 3 months ago. And in that time, I've painted, I don't know, but I'll paint without it. But yeah, I won't take any of this apart. I literally just put a bit of cleaning solution in there, in between each paint job. Make sure it's all clean inside there. Spray it out, and that's it. Move on to the next job the following day. And it rarely gives me any problems. I think when I was having a lot of paint issues, the biggest issue was actually when I was taking this needle out. There's a tiny little what do you call it, like a gasket, I guess, in there. And because I was constantly taking in and out, this gasket was going bad. Now I don't touch it, and I don't get any problems. I think, well, so another tip, when you're actually, if you do need to take apart your airbrush, I mentioned earlier on about taking a needle out. Don't take it out this way. When you actually back this off, take it out the front way, because when you do take it through the back, you actually drag all the junk and crud that may have built up through here. There's no, this has been 3 months, and there's no dirt, there's no build up, there's no grime inside there because it has never worked its way past the gasket. Anyway, I might do a kind of my version of taking apart an airbrush and how I do it. Whether I do it right or wrong, I don't know, but it works for me. Marty says, "Bye, Rob. Good luck with your channel, although you don't need it." Thank you, mate. I do really appreciate it. I was telling the guys earlier on, you were one of the 4 channels that kind of that inspired me into doing this, and you certainly helped me. You continue to help me. Every video that I watch of yours. So stay safe, mate. Right. So let's see. Like I say, Soham had asked then whether I had it before. No, I bought it for there. And if I have any other hobbies, well, you can see behind me, kind of music. There's drums around there. Collecting license plates. That's another. I don't know. Do you want to call it a hobby? There's like things like this. You see these old railroad. I was going to consider doing another channel, or maybe even on this channel, doing some restoration stuff. And actually, you see in the chat earlier on, Martin from Retro Restore, Resto Restore, and he does like stuff like this, and he's got a great big oven, and kind of does all these wonderful restorations on stuff like that. But I just don't have that ability to do that. So I think I'll probably just leave those as they are and just collect them, and just keep them as they are. So to seeing your collection. So I'll see if I can still pop around and show that. Hope you're also going to have a look into your toolbox and workshop setup. What is or are your favorite models, and where can I get a jar of foot-long hot dog? The jar's over the back there, but that jar that you see, that foot-long hot dog jar, that is still the original jar. I've not replaced it. That is probably been used almost 100 times, I would say. That's kind of it seems to be keep going, and it's going strong. My toolbox and workshop area, maybe I'll do like a toolbox video, kind of going through each little drawer and bits and pieces that I may use or would recommend. I don't know whether you guys would want to see that. Let me know if you would. Let's have and that's that page. What have I got? I've got 2 more pages of questions, but we'll have a look, see in the live feed, see if there's anything else coming up here. Wade Hendricks, hi Rob. Didn't know you was having a live chat today, or a live chat. I think it's a little bit of a live chat, perhaps. But I'm trying for it to be mostly about diecast, right? But glad to hear you. So Don, is that Brinelson? Glad to hear you hang on to your cars after restoring them, as opposed to turn them over to some small child. Hey, how destroy like a guy here in the USA does with his. I believe that's Wheels and Things. I think he gives them to his grandchildren. But that's cool. Nathaniel, love your stuff, Rob. Thank you, mate. What's this? Mark Bauer. Hello from Germany. I've been to Germany, went to Berlin. I thought it was a wonderful place to visit, to see all the bits and pieces. The kind of history there in Germany is massive. And I thought the German people were great. But anyway, do you collect newer Matchbox too? They have some very nice castings this year. I do have some, but I wouldn't consider myself a collector at all. I don't necessarily collect castings because I consider myself a YouTuber ultimately, and a restorer or a customizer. So for me to buy a brand new casting, of course I have modified and restored or not restored, but kind of custom some new castings. But otherwise, I prefer the older stuff, the kind of the rusty and the crusty, for me to try and bring back to brand new. That's what I prefer. But thank you for your question. Devil's Details Diecast. Good channel. I hear I have seen a couple of your videos, mate. But I know you're always in there with Keith over at Outlaw Speed Shop. But love watching the caustic soda in action. Yeah, to be honest, actually, if you hang around for tomorrow's video, I don't know. I think maybe a bit of a change to the way that I throw the caustic soda into the water needs to change, mainly because it was such a reaction, and it kind of come out of the jar, and it could have hit me in the face. It didn't, but it could have done. Maybe next time it would. But yeah, might need to change that. But anyway, Joey Nunez, my favorite car is a Matchbox Frolf Hopper train truck. Very nice. Miles Richardson, Rob, how long does it take to clean the spray gun out? And what do you use to make sure all the old paint residue has gone? Good question. I've mentioned this before. Let me, 1 second. For acrylic paint, this is Brush Magic by Deluxe Materials. This I was recommended by my father-in-law, and because he's a modeler, a real modeler. He's got train tracks and things like that. But if you use acrylic, this is expensive, but it truly is wonderful. For enamel paint, good old White Spirit. Perfect. That makes it a lot easier. Okay. Malcolm said an hour has gone already. Time flies, so it does. It's Jack Adams. Berlin is awesome. Do you know what? I went there for my stag do. Just a few of us. There was 4 of us. I had like a German stag do and then a UK stag do, and we found some kind of underground illegal thing. I don't know. It was pretty crazy, but really enjoyed it. Pete, my diecast. Very hard to find any Matchbox up here in the northern UK. Everywhere's Hot Wheels. To be fair, the same here. If I go to any local, Tesco's, we've got Sainsbury's or Asda's, which is a part of the Walmart family. Any of these places where we normally find 99% of the cars that you will buy are Matchbox. After all that, they are Hot Wheels. So, yeah. Rad, it looks a little dangerous at times. You're probably referring to the caustic soda, and yeah, it is dangerous. I don't recommend it. I use it because of time. I simply, I need it. I need that paint off quick, and that does it the quickest. So, Mark Bauer, so I'm living in a small town in Franconia near Bamberg. Berlin is more than 400 kilometers away. Devil's Details, thanks for the compliment. You deserve it, mate. Anybody in this field deserves the compliment. Like Lee mentioned earlier on, you put yourself out there, then you deserve respect. Doesn't matter how, there's some really great guys out there that put out the results of some of these cars are just, they 10 times better than what I can do. But some of them were just some little views, which is a real shame. But anyway, so what's that? Pin my diecast. I do my caustic next to my shower just in case. Had to use it last week for a dinky Pontiac. I got some dinky cars, some old ones. Let's have a Dennis Wood. Dennis. How are you, mate? Evening, Rob. Staying locked down due to the virus. So happy to finally see you and know you well. Do you mean, Dennis, that you have the virus, or are you just kind of staying away from it, mate? Hopefully you're keeping well. Jack Adams, you went there for your honeymoon. See, as much as I love Berlin, I don't think I would take my wife there. For me, it's me, my mates, and German beers. Rad says, referring to the caustic soda, its effect, but the boiling part looks too much to the voice. Thank you. Zed Griffin, the caustic soda reaction always reminds me of the time Marty tried and blew up Julie's punch bowl. Too exciting for me. Yeah, that was good. I remember that video. That was a cool video. I think Marty doesn't like the normally, like, obviously use ventilation. It goes out the window. I have shared this picture before, but that's what I wear. It really does make a difference. It does help. I've only started wearing that probably in the last, I want to say, probably only really a month or so. I was finding my throat was getting, I don't know, I felt like a build up, and I was getting kind of pains there. If you know Austin from Diecast Resurrection, he actually stopped doing videos for probably a couple of months, and because he kind of like screwed up his lungs from this pain. So yeah, I made sure that I kind of become a little bit more mature about it, and got this mask. And I mentioned to Danny as well, and he got one as well. So yeah, we're probably a little bit safer today. But right, let's have a look. Got some more questions from Underground Music Lover. I myself am quite the underground music lover. Have you ever tried making existing 1/64 cars into other cars that never got made into 1/64 scale, as in using a casting as a base to make another type of car conversion type thing? I don't think so. Not like drastically anyway. I guess you could say that Super Impreza that I recently done was, what was it? It was the actual casting was a Subaru Impreza WRX STI, but Hussein, whose car that I was doing a custom for, only had the WRX. It wasn't an STI. Now, there's a few little differences, like with the kind of colors and more so on the interior. But I made it so that it was only a WRX. So I guess you could perhaps say that. Jeremy Chip Chase, You have given away a number of cars at 2,000 likes. Which one do you most wish you could have kept? Also, which one were you most surprised got to 2,000? No, there's none that I wish that I could have kept. I would like to give away more cars. And the 2,000 like thing was ultimately a way to get more likes on a video. That's what YouTubers do, right? But when they do hit 2,000 likes, it's great to give them away, because I feel like I've got castings around the world now, in Australia, in New Zealand, in America, South America, throughout Europe. I just think it's so cool. Haven't got any in the Far East, and soon I'll have one in the Middle East, of course. This Subaru Impreza, once it's fully cured, I'll give it a couple of days. It's going to go to Saudi Arabia, so that's going to be quite cool. John Darkin, I know John. He is a regular commenter. Might be in the chat today. I think I might have seen him. Hi Rob, can't wait to see your collection. Which was your first? That is a really good question. Last January. So it was around Christmas time, and then throughout January, that's when I kind of started to collect everything in order to start up this hobby. And I spent a lot of money. I probably spent, just on my setup and like a bunch of castings, I probably spent £1,000, around $1,500 on everything that I wanted and needed. And well, I say that wanted and needed, what I thought I wanted and what I thought I needed. So I can't actually tell you what the first one was, because I bought hundreds. I remember being at my previous work and had a tally up. During January, I made 90 purchases on eBay, and that was from Diecast bundles to the airbrush to the to this kind of filter system, to just anything and everything, paints, thinners, paint brushes, scissors, etc. There's so much that you need to buy. But yeah, 90 purchases, and that continues to today. I'm constantly buying. I very rarely sell. I've started to sell a little bit more recently. I want to show you this car that I just sold. Let me just place that there. This is a car, 50p or £1. I've just sold this on eBay for a lot of money, and it blew my mind. And I've got to send that off, actually. So I'll put that there so I can post that, package it up tonight and post it tomorrow. Things like that excite me as well. Finding that little diamond, and not even knowing that it was a diamond. But anyway, Andy G, is your other half fully supportive of your hobby, or does it cause friction at times? I think we've mentioned this during this video. She is fully supportive. As it causes friction sometimes, sure. Like I remember when I first started out, she used to joke that she was a what did she say? I can't remember now, but she used to joke around, and we played around with it, and then. But we're now in a routine where she knows what I need to do. I know what I need to do. She says, "Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now," or whatever. Are you going to go up? And I go, "Yep." And then I come up into the up. and then I do my thing here. Right, so I've only got one more page of questions. So we are coming up towards the end. We've been doing this for an hour and 20 minutes so far. I have no idea. When I first started this, I didn't know whether I was going to do this for 10 minutes or for an hour or for longer. But anyway, Joey Nunez, what is the oldest Matchbox car that you have? Matchbox, Lesney. I've got some old ones. Stuff's from kind of like the first range, certainly. Going back to the 50s. But I've got older castings. I've got some really old Dinkies and these kind of weird and odd and off brands I've never heard of before, probably going back to the 40s and even previous. So yeah, some really old stuff there, but anyway, what's this? Holy Moses, I know that I bought $50 in aerosol paints for starting my hobby. I think you can see that there. That there is full of aerosols, mainly from the pound shop. Other than this one, this is Belton Molotov Premium, and it's actually a it's like a spray painting, like illegal kind of tagging and such. But this is what most of my cars are. What I use for the clear coat. You can't use that on enamels though, because it just burns straight through it. Right, what other? So Nathan Cook, have you ever come across any Maestos or other brands? I have done one Maesto, if I remember rightly. It was a Mazda RX-8, I think. Pimp My Diecast. Diecast Resurrection uses 2K, which is really an industrial finish requiring specialist equipment. He's got some, some of the stuff he uses. He's got like a secret blend for his clear coat. I don't know what it is, but whatever he does, his paint works are beautiful. Devil's Details Diecast. Be well all. Stay safe out there. Rob, good to meet you. You too, mate. Stay safe. Nathan Cook. Yeah, I think Major does a lot of work on their cars with the white wheels and making them look a lot like Hot Wheels. Here's the thing. Hot Wheels is the number one brand of everything that we do, right? It's that's just the way it is. Right. Craig Allen, what size screws and tap do you use for the base? Now I use a 4mm drill bit to remove the flange. I use a 1.6mm drill bit to drill the center of the post, and then it's an M2 tap, and then I use M2 laptop screws, which come from China. I don't know if you can buy them now, but instead of buying like die-cast screws, which are ultimately the same thing, but they just rebadge something else. But you buy like 100 laptop screws, and it costs you a couple of quid. You buy, you rebadge it as die-cast replacement screws, and you can charge 5 times that. Anyway, crazy. But yeah, Malcolm, take care, Rob. I'm off. Dinner time with the family. It's been awesome to meet you. Thanks for stopping by, mate. Keep you safe and your family safe. Right, let's have a look. We've got this last page of questions, and then I think we'll call it a day. So, which was your first? Which I think did we answer that? No. So I don't see who actually posted that, but of course, my first ever restoration was the Mercedes that, as you can see on this channel. Somebody here asked, is it possible to get a house or flat tour of your home? I won't be doing that, but I'll show you the kind of the area here. And do you remember your first toy car? Jay Hunto's Garage says 1/64 scale. Also, have you been into diecast as a hobby, or was there an event occasion that got you back into it? My first toy car. I can't remember. I used to have a lot of toy cars. In fact, one of my first toy cars that I do remember is actually the car and video that's coming out tomorrow, which I will be giving away. So be sure to check it out. And then lastly on here, Albert Pierrick, which car do you have? I'm assuming in real life. I actually own two cars. I've got an Audi A4 and a BMW 1 Series. The 1 Series was it's one of these 123Ds. It's a diesel, it's a 2 litre, it's a twin turbo, and I bought it as a spares or repairs. And for about the last almost 2 years now, I've been trying to fix this thing. And I did have some videos on it. Actually, I may have deleted them now, but if you look at some of my older videos before Matchbox Garage was created, because this channel was 2007, so it's almost 13 years old. But yeah, before Matchbox Garage, you may see on there some bits on my BMW 123. You may also see bits on my Audi A4 as well. So that's what I've got. So just some last questions in the live chat before I say goodbye. It's currently 11:15, and I'll just give enough time to calm down for bed. Nick Gurr, could you say happy birthday to my sister Annie Gurr? Happy birthday, Annie. I hope you have a very nice day. Pick my diecast. Nice catch up, buddy, after a hard day. Thank you very much for stopping by, mate. Joe Nunez, what is your favorite Matchbox car? I don't have a favorite. They're all my favorites. What model did you enjoy doing the most? By David Fogg. That's a good question. Did I enjoy? I think the ones that really turn out, from the ones that kind of are crushed and smashed and taken apart, I think I enjoy those most, to turn them around and put them back together. Nathan Cook, have you ever come across the newer Tamica? No. I haven't seen any new Tamica. Only the really kind of, I guess, 80s, 70s, 80s. Oh, see, look, Danny has finally joined us. Good stream, buddy. Good on you. Thank you, mate. And just as I'm about to go, although I think it's probably, what is it for you? Around about 10 a.m. So you probably just got up, taking the dogs out for a quick wee. Hopefully you're all good, mate. I'm just kind of finishing this up. I'm probably going to finish it at exactly 1 hour and 30 minutes. So I've got about 2.5 minutes to go. Craig Allen, does the supplier of your windows do other parts for other makes too? I use... what do I use now? It's totally escaped me. See, I've been talking for so long that I can't remember. But so I'll have to. No, is it modelsupplies.co.uk? Of course, they do other bits and pieces. Where is the address located to send you something which I'm sure you will like? Says Nathan Hurt. You will see the address in the description of my videos. Keep up the good work from Buzz 1973. I will try, mate. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, Danny says he commented right at the start of the stream. Oh, fair play, mate. To be honest, where I've been reading stuff from my phone, the chat thing kind of just goes up, and I've probably only seen about 10% of the actual comments. So, thanks, mate. Where are we? Oh, I've got a minute and a half left. Steaming Lion. When's the scrapyard coming? It's going to come soon. Possibly, maybe, probably sometime soon. Nathan Cook, see you next time. Cheers, mate. Oh, Pimp My Diecast. Got mellow on JD. Do you know what? That's what I've done wrong. I've got water and I've got loads of whiskey downstairs that I could have done perhaps next time. Gaslands Mechanic. I've seen some of your videos. Hey, man. How's it going, mate? Kia Dodds. You're doing up cars like the Nova and the MR2. Yeah, I enjoy your... Danny sent me some pictures of like his area where he drives, and it's absolutely beautiful in the New Zealand countryside. I am really jealous. I drive around here and it's just grey and horrible. But yeah, anyway. So I think this is going to be the last thing that I read out. Steve Carman, hello, English Rob. You are somewhat younger than I thought. My first Matchbox car was a tan Morris Collie. Well, I'm 36 years old. I don't feel young anymore. I'm getting old. But no, that's pretty cool. Anyway, it's 1 hour 30. I'm going to get myself ready to go to bed. Thank you to everybody that stopped by today. I really appreciate it. But yeah, check out the video tomorrow. Remember, it's Italian, it's red, and it's going to be given away. So anyway, let me know, actually, if you want to see some more streams. At first, I was kind of almost shaking and fearful of doing one, but actually turned out all right. Anyway, guys, see you soon.